session so far. As a founder of Strikedeck, I've learned that, how important it is to focus on government. And so it's a pleasure to invite Dr. Ashok Meena to the stage. Just to give you a quick background about Ashok, he's Secretary of IT and Finance with Government of Odisha. And he's a BTech from IIT Kanpur, BTech Computer Science. And he did IAS in '93. And he's also served as Secretary of Information Technology for the Odisha government, where he could leverage all the knowledge he has about computers. And he's been involved with the Government of India, Government of Odisha. So it's a pleasure to do a fireside chat with Ashok. So
thank you, Shreesha.
So my first question is with respect to policy changes. So government does frequent policy change. Does it translate into opportunities for entrepreneurs? How can entrepreneurs leverage this?
Thank you, Shreesha. When we talk about the policy changes, let's understand it very clearly that the governments bring policy changes for development in general, and specifically they look forward to how the things are changing all around and how they want to transform themselves.
Right.
So therefore, two sets of policies are generally propounded by the governments. One is to transform itself, and the other is to ensure that its own transformation leads to general development everywhere. I would give you an example, say smart cities. This is a new policy which federal government has brought in India, and state governments are also going on how to develop smart cities. Now, if you talk about smart cities, then it's not only going to be that you need to create an infrastructure, but it also needs to build up lot of soft infrastructure, how the governments will run these cities itself. So this policy will now take you to a stage where a lot of platforms are needed to run the cities. Now, these platforms will definitely be requiring a lot of innovation, a lot of new technology, and the new generation expects a lot from these smart cities. So the policy for smart cities per se opens up lots of opportunities for providing the platforms for running of the smart cities, and also opportunities for new technological entrepreneurs to do innovation in running of the smart cities. I would give you another example which is happening in our country right now is goods and services tax. It will make India, whole India as one nation, one tax kind of scenario. And one of the biggest platform which is being built in public-private partnership, where private sector is coming together with the government, and company has been set up. It is called GST network. They are building one of the biggest platforms in terms of simplifying and reforming the tax structure in the entire country. Now, when you will have huge number of transactions taking place over this network, it will open up a lot of opportunities for data analytics, for the new generation companies to take advantage of the huge amount of data which will be generated and provide analytics to various people in the ecosystem itself. There is another example I would like to give from my own state. We have just launched a policy called a startup policy, where the youngsters are being encouraged that you should start your own enterprises. And we are not only this policy is just a statement, but it also goes much beyond, in the sense that if a student who comes out from the university, he wants to start something, then government is willing to give him sustenance for a year or two, so that he can actually take a bigger risk than what he would normally have taken. So when you look at the policies, governments do implement these policies in such a manner that more and more people take advantage, innovate, and change the structure of government itself. The transformation of government is actually happening through these policies.
Right, right. No, those are great examples. One other question, Ashok, is around it takes time for entrepreneurs to develop a solution, right? To design and develop a solution. Is there any way the entrepreneurs and the startup guys can be informed in advance about the policy changes that are going to happen? Can they get a head start?
Very valid question, and there are a couple of ways in which entrepreneurs can prepare themselves for what is going to unfold in future. And the best thing right now I can think of is, the state government and the federal government bring out their own vision statements. For example, recently the federal government has brought a 3-year action plan and a 7-year perspective plan. Or we are talking about New India in 2022. So this is another plan at the federal level. Similarly, at the state level, we have these kind of plans which talk about the general direction in which we will be moving forward. And this also lays down sector by sector approach in which we would like to achieve particular parameters. For example, I would say in the health sector, we would like to reduce the infant mortality rate from certain stage to another state. Then what are the interventions which will be required for reducing the infant mortality rate? That kind of vision statement is given. And we have, I'm sure all other states also have, there is a Invest Odisha website in which not only the sectoral vision is given, but also the expectation from the entrepreneurs is also laid out. So I would suggest that if the new technology entrepreneurs are interested to know about various policies, they should look at the vision statements of various governments to start with, and then drill down sector-specific visions that the state governments bring.
Great. So one last quick question, Ashok. The state and the federal, do you look up to the federal to see what entrepreneur activities are going on to take inspiration, or is it more of a mandate to encourage local entrepreneurs?
See, I would like to say that the federal policies and the state level policies operate in a very organic fashion, and we evolve our state level policies as general continuation of the federal policies. But we also have local tinge to implementation of all these policies. And if you want to take advantage, real advantage of local level policies, then definitely yes, we would definitely like that local talent is taken on board. And therefore, for example, startup policy which Odisha government has brought, it clearly says that it need not be a locally registered company, but a company registered anywhere in the world. If it has a certain amount of people from Odisha working for that company, they can take advantage of subsidies and the assistance available in terms of monetary assistance to the company that can be availed. So in general, the state governments would give a slight flip to any policy that they are bringing about, that if you have local people managing those companies, then they would give certain more advantages. So I would say that every state government and the federal government would like that local people are taken on board while working with the state government or with the federal government.
Great. So I would like to thank Ashok for wonderful chat, and thanks for contributing your perspectives. Would like to welcome Sandhya back.
Thank you, Shreesha.